I'm at the point now where I think that OnlyFans is becoming actually a major problem, and the incentive structure that it provides to young women is so demented that it's got to have major knock-on effects going forward. And this can't be good. It is unhealthy to allow OnlyFans to distort what is possible for one, or at least a part of the female sex, compared to what is possible for the male sex. And this is going to cause massive problems for just relationship formation going forward. Because apparently there are 1.4 million American women on OnlyFans, and there's only about 10 million women aged 18 to 24%. So that's more than 10% of women, 1 in 10, more than, young women in America is just using OnlyFans to make money. It's like, okay, that's wild. Because as far as I'm concerned, OnlyFans is just digital prostitution. Now, I don't want to get all puritanical about prostitution. It's the world's oldest profession for a reason. But there is something to be said for the scope of OnlyFans and what it facilitates because it's digital. Like, a prostitute is restrained by just simply the number of clients proximally that she can engage with throughout a day. And so I'm sure prostitutes make good money. I have no idea, but like, let's assume they make good money. But how good money can it possibly be, right? And OnlyFans has changed the nature of this. So it's becoming, I mean, it just seems demented, actually, if you think about it. So anyway, so way too many young women are using OnlyFans. But what's important to remember is most of them aren't making huge amounts. So as this graph shows, this is the top 11 to 100% of revenues. The top 10% is left off. And so you can see that basically earning $1,000 or less per month on OnlyFans is what 90% of OnlyFans women are doing. So in the pursuit of really, really high goals, you'll notice that most of the women, so this is going to be, again, about 1.2 million women using it, are making less than $1,000 a month. And 2 million, well, I don't know how many of it is, but like most of those are making $50 a month. Like half of those, sorry, just under half of those are making about $50 a month. So that's interesting, isn't it? It's kind of just debasing yourself for very little money, really, right? And so imagine that. I mean, that seems quite embarrassing, but also you have really changed the opinion that people have of you for a very small amount of money. And you have also enabled what I consider to be basically the worst men in society. Just to be clear, I've never used OnlyFans, obviously. I don't really know how it works, but from what I've seen through the sort of cultural osmosis of people talking about it, it seems that these women are basically cultivating sort of online boyfriends. They act very flirtatiously with them and show them naked photos, take requests and stuff like this. And so, okay, you're prostituting yourself by taking up the time of really scummy men by pretending to be their online girlfriend for hire, and you're not making a huge amount of money out of this. So that's, I mean, I just don't think that's very good, right? That's not great. Just to be clear, men who use OnlyFans pay for women on OnlyFans. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Like, I can't imagine anything more disgusting, really, than giving money to a woman that you're not sleeping with. Like, guys, right? If you've got money to burn and you're interested in female company, go to a bar. Like, literally go to a bar and offer to buy some girls drinks. And if you're hideous, go see a prostitute. I don't know, you know, like, just engage with a real woman, right? Don't engage with a digital woman. Like, for Christ's sake, real women will allow you to spend your money on them and you'll get something physical out of it if you're lucky. Don't waste your money on e-women. I can't understand it. But the point is that this isn't good for anyone, right? It's giving millions of absolute losers false hope and wasting their time when instead they could be saving, improving themselves, losing weight, working out, doing whatever. Instead, they're wasting their time and money on women who very cheap, like low grade prostitutes online who are soaking up that money, which is not good. And these women are, of course, debauching themselves for not very much money, which is not great. But then you get the sort of like mid-range ones, right? So this woman in Scotland, she was able to save up £60,000 because she makes something like, what was it, £5,000 to £6,000 a month, right? That's pretty good, all things considered, right? That's a good amount of money. So she's making about 60, 70k a year, something like that, because she's got TikTok. Right? So she's making a fairly good amount of money, and she was able to save up, I think it was £60,000, so she could buy a house, or bought a £200,000 house. Okay, well, good for her. But again, she did have to be a prostitution to do it, and she did kind of beat the spread because that puts her in the top 10% of OnlyFans creators. So you realize even to get a livable wage off of this it's unlikely for most women. So was it worth it is the question. But then you get the upper limit. So this woman bought a £700,000 $1,000, I know it was pound mansion, through OnlyFans. So she's obviously in the top sort of 5% or something. So now we see like this is like ultra high end prostitution, right? These in I guess days gone by, these women would have had to have flown out to some Arab sheik, allowed him to do despicable things to her to get this level of money and be unbelievably hot herself. And now it's something that you can just do via the internet. And it gets worse and worse. Like this, so this woman is apparently, one of the 1% on it. I don't know who these people are, by the way. Just a Paris Ao Yang I've never heard of. But she bought an entire block of flats for $7.5 million because she earns tens of millions of dollars every year. Like this woman apparently made $43 million. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm a Christian. God's very forgiving. Yeah, whatever. I don't care. Right. The issue is that prostitution probably shouldn't pay this well. And the issue is one of access, right? Millions of men should not be able to give one individual woman any amount of, like, however many dollars it is a month in order to see her naked photos, right? That totally distorts what the sexual marketplace should be. And it just makes everything demented. Like, it's just absolutely demented how she buys, nearly a $3 million mansion farm from earning $72 million from subscriptions. It's like, what are we doing, guys? What are we doing? Why are we allowing this to happen? Like, this shouldn't be an option. And obviously, this is demented because you can see why more than 1 in 10 American women under 30 is now on OnlyFans. Because they're like, oh, right, so I can get ultra rich, like to an insane degree. Like, so rich, you just don't even think about it. Like, I'm not a multimillionaire. I'm not a millionaire. So it's like, this... And I work really goddamn hard. It's not that I'm jealous. I am jealous, but, like, it just strikes me that it's very unwise to give prostitutes this kind of, not just financial power, but cultural influence now. Because young women are going to be like, okay, what am I going to do? Well... I'm slim and pretty, so why wouldn't I just become an e-prostitute? Because I can cultivate an army of literally millions of Sims, rinse them for money, and then just buy myself an incredible mansion or farm or block of flats or whatever it is. Like, why wouldn't I do this? And this is only possible because in the digital era, there is a platform that allows digital prostitutes to connect with digital patrons, punters, and soak up the money of millions of men while providing them the sort of facsimile of a sexual service. And it's like, okay, but we don't have to allow that, actually. It is actually possible for us to just ban OnlyFans. We could criminalize it. We could say, you know what? Actually, that's not on, because that's doing something really weird to society. It wasn't really anticipated when the internet was connected that it would provide virtual prostitutes with the ability to just rinse tens of millions of really lonely men and live the most insane lives of luxury that one could possibly imagine. That wasn't actually the purpose of the internet. And that, I think, is probably going to be shown to be just bad for society going forward. And so actually, if we wanted to just ban this, I think a fairly good argument could be made for it, actually. Like, we don't have to permit mass digital prostitution, actually. This is not good. And it's really, really unwholesome. And it totally inverts the dynamic of where prostitutes, the rank in society that prostitutes held. Because it used to be that actors and prostitutes were the lowest ranked people in society, and they didn't make very much money because, of course, they can't have that many patrons because things were in the real world. And then in the 20th century, you get the rise of the celebrity, in which, well, replicable media can be distributed, and suddenly millions of people know who this particular person is, making the pay of actors skyrocket. Well, in the 21st century, we now have the same with prostitutes. It's like, okay, but actually, we are elevating people whose entire business model is vice, and now the people who are virtuous are no longer anywhere to be seen. They're not the people who society holds up as a model of manhood or womanhood. Is that good? And like I said, I'm not trying to have a go at prostitutes. I'm not trying to go at actors. It's just, there seems to be something unnatural about this that probably has severe knock-on effects that I think we're going to have to be struggling with for quite some time afterwards. So, like I said, maybe just banning this is a good idea. Maybe just saying, look, we're not going to have multi-millionaire prostitutes buying up all the real estate, actually. Again, I don't want to come across as too much of a stiff, but like, there's just something about actually the insanely hot blonde landlady now being the slumlord over millions over the United States, where all of the simps pay to rent in their mansions, in their slums, in their blocks of flats. Like, that just strikes me as not necessarily a desirable future that we don't have to permit, because it's not moral, it's not good, it's not a virtue to do this. And I mean, you can see here, she's sending apparently some 2-year community corrections order, because it's probably not good for her either, actually, to have this level of fame, wealth, and attention, especially sexual attention. Like, this strikes me as being something that really isn't very desirable. And we might want to just consider it, right? I'm not demanding, I'm not banging this, we have to ban OnlyFans now. But I think that is an option that should be on the table. Because really, I mean, this is gross, right? It is gross to have the prostitutes as being some of the most highly paid people in society, isn't it? Like, I think it probably is. I don't think it's a good example to kids. And like I said, you know, it's the oldest profession in the world. I don't think you're going to get rid of it. But we don't have to give it the kind of platform that it has so that these women can become some of the wealthiest people in society. I mean, it just sounds comical when you say it, right?